can say hi if you're, so I know you're here. And then maybe grabbing a blanket and a pillow or a bolster. If you want to light a candle, do something that's going to support your practice. Have a glass of tea or some water, whatever you like. And then say hi, because I see some of you are here. Hey, Aurelia. Hey, Aurelia. Good to see you. I miss you. Miss you guys. Yeah, it's nice to be able to hang out virtually. Super exciting, especially because of the weather. So yeah, we'll hang out and have a good practice for you guys today. So we'll wait here. I like to come on a little bit earlier in anticipation for some technical issues. Sometimes things just happen. I finally figured out how to enable chat by making this not available for kids, even though I think my practice is kid-friendly. If you click on the live portion, on the chat portion, that it's appropriate for kids, they don't allow chat, which I guess is good and probably a safe thing to do. So this week I figured out live chat, so I'm excited to experience that. So do say hello, and we're going to be starting here in a few minutes, so settle in, take your time. Just checking the sound, making sure you guys can hear me okay. So you can just give me a thumbs up if you don't want to say anything, so I know you guys can hear me. This mic I seem to have the best luck with this particular microphone. So if you can't hear me, I guess I would probably know. Yeah, thank you. Let's take a seat back here while I'm waiting for people to join us. I like to clear the energy at home when I practice, so I usually have a candle lit, and then incense I might light for a few minutes just to clear the energy, and then I usually put it away. So, yeah, it looks like the weather's clearing up, so I was able to get out on a walk today, especially being in the house. It's hard being in the house and then not being able to go out because of the weather, so I took advantage of it just a little bit ago, and I hope you guys are taking the opportunities to go out, and I hope that hope everyone's being safe and hope everyone's healthy. I have a lot of relatives in New York, so out on the island, which is becoming hit pretty hard by the virus. So sending my well wishes for them, and I'm keeping in contact and been staying, just keeping my social distancing and staying home and going out as needed. And I hope you're all doing the same. I'm sure you are. And let's see what else. I want to do a practice today that we'll get a little bit into our backs, just because I know that it's just a lot of sitting at home, even if we're moving, and I walk a couple of times a day for 45 minutes just to get out, and then I do a practice at home, and then I have a sitting practice. So but I'm still finding that I'm just sitting so much that my back is really needs a little bit more support. So we're going to do a little bit of that tonight, which also will help lengthen the psoas. And then we'll do some other things too, because the psoas muscles, they are just engaged a lot when we're sitting and when we're standing. And, it's not ideal sitting for the back muscles or the psoas muscles, because we're not usually sitting in a way that is appropriate. So I'm just going to wait maybe a couple more minutes. You might hear my dog's feet clicking around, and I find that dogs energetically, they like to be in the space, and and he'll hang out. He won't be a bother. So, while I'm waiting, I guess I can mention I have a polyvagal theory and yoga coming up on the 19th. I'll be doing it live over Zoom, and it'll be an afternoon workshop where we talk about, and I think it's actually very appropriate now. It talks about our nervous system and how social engagement is necessary for our nervous system regulation. So that's something, if you'd like to sign up online, and we're going to do it over Zoom. And then I did offer, and we took it down. We were going to start it this weekend, but it's the joy of being with yourself, which is more like a group where we can come together in community and have more interaction than we do in the classes. The classes are great, but I've been hearing from people that, it's maybe we have interaction with our family, but it's not the same as having support from the community. So that's going to start next Saturday, and it's going to be up on the Breathe website. If it's not up already, it'll be up within the next day or so. So you can check it out and sign up if you'd like, and we'll see. We had some interest on Saturday, but we ended up canceling it because not enough people signed up initially, but then that tends to happen. We get a lot of interest. So if that's something you're interested in, it's called The Joy of Being by Yourself, and I'm going to be leading it over Zoom, and we'll have a practice. It'll just be an hour on Saturdays and Tuesdays, basically for the next month while we're still in shelter in place, and we'll have a practice. We'll do a meditation, and we'll offer support for each other, if people are struggling, because sometimes isolation, I'm finding it hard, so I know that I'm not alone. And so it's just an opportunity to support one another. So I'm going to take a peek here and make sure that everything is going the way it's supposed to. And you are also welcome. Hello. So glad you guys are here. Yeah. Good. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'd like to start just by grounding. So finding yourself in a comfortable seat, either on a cushion. If you don't have a cushion or a blanket, I have a blanket here because I'm going to be putting that on my mat. I like having a blanket on my mat for this practice. It's just, I think, kinder to the body and provides a little more support. So if you don't have one, just moving forward as we continue to do these classes online, and they're going to be getting longer in a couple of weeks, I think a blanket is quite nice. So grabbing one if you'd like, and maybe grabbing a pillow. And while you're doing that, the rest of us will just ground here for a moment. So we're going to sit up nice and tall and bring your awareness to your legs as they make contact with your mat, and bring the awareness to the sitting bones as they press through the flesh into your cushion or your pelvis. And then lengthen the spine. You can see I just instinctively, almost now, habitually bring my chin down because we want to lengthen the back of the neck. That's just supportive to the spine and supportive to the nervous system. And then imagine that you have a marionette string on the top of your head and someone is lifting up that string. And then keep the weight in the lower body nice and heavy. So the energy is moving in both directions. It's weighing down with the weight of the pelvis and the legs, and it's lifting up with that imaginary string. And the chin is down. And bring your awareness to your breath. Yeah, because sometimes when we sit with so much attention and intention, I think it's very common to hold the breath. So we'll start by just noticing the breath and try not to hold it. So just notice the breath and let the breath settle down and make its way into a natural rhythm. And then if it's comfortable, you can begin to lengthen the inhale, filling the belly. So attempting to bring the breath down below the diaphragm, if that's possible. And then feeling the belly fill on the inhale and the belly descend on the exhale. And then eventually moving that breathing into a pattern or a rhythm where the inhale and the exhale mirror each other in place. And then inviting softness wherever you'd like. Wherever wherever you feel like there's tension. And then softening the shoulders too on the exhale. So as you begin to soften, you might feel the rest of the body just kind of take a, almost as if there's a sense of relief. Good. And then we'll bring our arms out to the side. Inhale, pull the hands up, turn your palms up and gather. And then with all that energy you just gathered, we'll lower the hands down the front side of the body as we ground the front side of the body. And we'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling, pulling from below, turn your palms up and gather. And then we'll lower the hands as we ground the back side of the body. And then we'll do 1 more. Inhaling and gathering. And we're going to lower the hands as we ground right down the center channel. And then for today, what I invite you to do is bring your hands together in front of your heart. And if you'd like, you can dedicate your practice to someone maybe that would benefit from the practice more than yourself, or you can offer it to yourself. But I think just given collectively what's going on in the world and in our area and the country, maybe offering up the benefits of our practice to all beings, or if there's a specific person you'd like to, let's do that now. And then namaste. And I'm going to come off my cushion. Here's where I normally say my name's Joanne. I think most of you probably know that since you had to go to my YouTube channel to find me. If you want to put a blanket on your mat, now would be a time to do that. So opening up your blanket. And then once you have your blanket on your mat, let's come into a child's pose to start. So have the knees go nice and wide. Release the tops of the feet onto the mat. And then lower the forehead down onto your mat. Now, I'd like to have the forehead touching something. So if your forehead doesn't touch on its own, you can stack your fists or stack your hands, but make sure that there is some connection with the forehead and the mat or the hands, just to release the neck. And then send the breath down into the pelvis. Now, this is a really wide leg child's pose because we're getting into the psoas straight away. And then soften the shoulders. And just sit with that sensation in the inner thighs and the hip area. And we don't want it to be too loud. We want it to be, I'd say, pretty consistent. So if you feel like the sensation is really loud, then maybe bring the knees a little bit closer together. But if you can handle having them pretty wide and the sensation isn't screaming at you, then let's go ahead and do that. If the sensation becomes too loud where it's building and building and building, then the nervous system gets involved and it gets a little bit excited and aroused, and we don't really want to do that quite so much. And then as you're ready, let's go ahead and extend the arms long, holding on to the blanket or your mat with your fingertips, and then resisting with the fingertips as you push your sitting bones down towards your heels. Getting some nice length in the spine, lengthening the side body. Super important. The work we're going to do, and also just for what's going on in our bodies right now for a lot of us. And then release that effort. We'll walk the hands over to the left, press the right hand into the floor, and pull your right sitting bone down towards your right heel. Opening up the right side. Send the breath into the right side of the rib cage. Creating lots of space. So make this pretty active so that the stretch is you're very aware of this, that a stretch is happening. There's a consistent stretching sensation in the right side body. And then release that effort. We'll walk our hands through center and we'll come over to the other side, pressing the left hand into the floor and then pulling the left sitting bone down towards the left heel. Sending the breath into the left side body. Creating space. Notice if this side is different. It might be. It very well may be. And then release that effort. And we'll come back to center, making our way onto all fours. So tuck the toes just to keep the feet awake. Wrists are going to be underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Hands pressing with a lot of intention into the mat. On the inhale, drop your belly and bring the heart forward. And you're pressing into the hands and the toes and the knees as you round the spine on the exhale. Inhaling, releasing the belly, heart comes forward. On the exhale, we're going to round. And then moving with your breath. And pressing into the hands. Keep the hands, knees, and toes grounded. We want to keep the energy down, but we really want to get into the spine. And then rounding one more time. And then hold here in the rounded position for a couple of breaths. Using the breath to create some space in the back. And when I sit a lot, this provides me a little bit of relief. It really does, getting a nice stretch here. And then inhale, we'll drop the belly, heart comes forward, and stay here for a couple of breaths as well. And then inhaling here. On the exhale, tuck the toes, send the hips back to a downward dog. Inhale, lower the knees back down and release the belly. And then exhale, downward dog. Inhale, we're going to lower, landing the knees. And let's do two more. Exhaling the hips back. And then inhale, knees come down. And then one more. Bring the knees back. We're going to land the knees. And then come into a neutral spine where we're neither in cat nor cow. And begin to barrel roll the spine. We'll bring the right ribs over to the right. We're going to round our back just like we did. And then left ribs over to the left. So a big barrel roll, getting into all the different areas of the torso. And then if you wanted to, you can send the hips back and you can make this a little more intuitive. This is something I'll do at the end of class, but it's nice to do really anytime, at the beginning of class or at the end of class. So you can close your eyes and move in a way that feels natural and intuitive. Taking your time. And this allows us to get into the fascia, some of those areas that we just don't get into with traditional yoga or traditional movement. This gives us a little more freedom to access some of those hard to reach areas. Get some space in there, get some circulation and energy moving there. And then I'd love to do this for longer, but it's a shorter class today. So coming back to neutral, whatever that is for you. And then knees or hips distance apart. Let's bring the right knee forward and then come up and interlace your hands and place your hands on top of your right thigh. Release it, release the shoulders away from your ears. And then on your exhale, just begin to ease forward into this lunge. Inhale, we're going to back off. So just coming forward and back, softening the shoulders, taking the effort out of this anywhere where it's not needed. So notice the face is a good place to always look, yeah? Coming forward and back. And then eventually we'll come forward and we'll hang out. I'm going to hang out just for a few breaths here, not for long. For 3, 2, and 1. Then back off your lunge and we'll come back into a runner stretch. So sitting back on your left heel, flexing the right toes, sitting back, just getting into the back of the leg. Nicely done. And then come forward and we'll bring the right leg behind us. Left foot's going to come forward. Interlace your hands on top of the left thigh this time. And we'll coming forward and back. So take your time. You can inhale as you come forward, exhale as you come back. And then coming forward this next time and holding wherever you are. So holding here. For 3, 2, and 1. Then we'll back off and run a stretch on this side just to get into the hamstring. For 3, 2, And one. We'll come forward and then release the leg behind you. Let's tuck all 10 toes, slide the hands forward, and we're going to make our way into a puppy pose. Hips stay high, lower the head and chest down towards the floor. And then staying in puppy. And then nicely done. And then come back into a child's pose just for a few breaths. Maybe shift the hips from side to side or shift the torso from side to side. Make it a little flowy child's pose. And then when you're ready, you can come out of your child's pose and make your way onto your back. So coming all the way onto your back, we're going to bend the knees. And we'll start with the arms by your side. Lift the heart up slightly and pull your shoulders away from your ears. And maybe the palms will go up. And then just pause here for a moment. Maybe wiggle your toes. Just allow your body to get acclimated to being on your back. And then maybe walk the feet out to the side edges of your mat if that's comfortable for you, and bring the arms into a cactus position or maybe out to the side. If that's not comfortable for your shoulders, you can always have your arms down by your side, always your choice. And then just slowly, just kind of sway the knees from side to side. Don't come into a full windshield wiper. Make this a little more fluid, like you're lying on a boat and there's some consistent flow of waves coming in there, just naturally knocking the legs from side to side. It's a gentle swaying. The body loves rhythmic movement. It really does. It just feels really safe and natural. And I'd say for most people, there's always exceptions. So I always have to say that in case you're swaying your legs and you're like, this doesn't feel that great to me, and that may be true for you. But for most people I found, and I've worked with a lot of people over the years, this is just very soothing. That's why babies like to be rocked, because it's soothing for them. I'm going to have a visitor here in a moment. And then bring the knees in towards your shoulders. Do a little rocking from side to side. And then we're going to make our way into a happy baby. So grabbing the bottoms of the feet and pulling the knees down towards the side ribs and pulling the shoulders away from the ears. And we can make this a decent happy baby. So you can make it so it's, you feel a good sensation in the hips. Good. And then release that effort. And let's come into a figure 4 on the right. So bend your left knee and put the right ankle on top of the left thigh. You can keep your left foot on the floor, or you can hug the left knee in towards the left shoulder. And then if you hug the left knee in, you're going to shift the hips over to the left for a little bit, just to open up the right hip a little bit more. And this is really nice because we've been sitting a lot, like I've been saying, and opening up that right hip. And one hip will likely feel tighter than the other, because even when we sit, we have certain physical patterns that we're probably not even aware of. And then come back to center. If it's comfortable, you're going to extend the left leg up, keep the left toes flexed. Some of you might walk the hands up the leg towards the foot. Maybe you can grab the foot, but you certainly don't have to. Keeping both feet flexed if that works for you. And then nicely done. We'll bend the left knee. We'll stay in this elevated figure 4. Now, if you have your foot on the floor, you can just skip this part. Just stay where you are. You're going to push the top of the left thigh into the outside of the right foot towards you. See if you can hold the right leg where it is and extend the left leg long. And then you're moving with your breath. Inhale, pull, and your leg's going to slingshot back a little bit because it's quite a lot of effort to hold the leg like that. And if you feel this is compromising your hips at all, or your back rather, then slide your hands underneath your pelvis, because this takes a little bit of core. And if your core is compromised, which a lot of us have a compromised core. I just last year had a bunch of repair work. I didn't even know I needed. So sometimes we have a lot of things going on in our core that isn't always very obvious. Nicely done. And then come back. We're going to lower the feet, and then we're going to switch sides. So moving over to the other side. Same with your figure 4. And then maybe hugging the right knee in, and then dropping the legs over to the right. Just getting some space in that left hip. And then we'll come back to center and extend the right leg up towards the ceiling. And then some of us might walk the hands up towards the foot, maybe grabbing the toe. You certainly don't have to. The tricky part here is the tailbone wants to lift. See if you can root that tailbone. So we're definitely working the legs here. This isn't a vacation with the legs. We're getting them ready for our tremoring experience. And then release that effort. You're going to bend your right knee and then resist the top of the right thigh into the back of the right foot. Exhale, you're going to extend and inhale. Push in, see if you can hold the foot there, and then exhale, extend. And then moving with your breath. And we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. And then when you come back, we're going to land our feet. I have a visitor on my mat here. And then you can have your legs either bent, or let's have the legs go long and just pause for a moment. This is my dog. He's my partner in crime. He's pretty old. He generally just hangs out with me. He likes being really close to me. He's become really attached to me, over the course of the this shelter in place because, obviously it's just him and I, so he appreciates me, I think. We're going to bend the knees, hug the knees in, and let's come right back into a happy baby once again. And then put the soles of the feet together and maybe interlace the hands behind on the outside of the feet and pull your feet towards you. Just getting into this. It's like a Baddha Konasana legs is what I would call this, or butterfly legs. So keeping that resistance, getting to the inside of the thighs. And then we're going to release the feet, lower the feet down onto the floor, have knees and feet hips distance apart, palms on the ground, and the hands kind of close into the body. On the inhale, press your feet into the floor, lift the hips up, squeeze the glutes at the top, and then exhale, lower. And then inhale, we lift and squeeze, exhale and lower. And then we're going to inhale and lift and squeeze, exhale and lower. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, lift and squeeze, exhale, lower. And let's do 1 more. Inhale, lift and squeeze, and exhale, lower. And let's bring the soles of the feet together and the knees wide. So this is a Supta Baddha Konasana, or butterfly. Interlace your hands behind your head and let the elbows go nice and wide. So press the elbows into the floor and squeeze the blades together and press your feet towards each other. So keep this really active in the legs. And then inhale, lift your heart up. You're going to have to release the legs a little bit to do that. Exhale, flatten your back, and then pull the legs together and pull the elbows together. On the inhale, open the elbows wide, lift your heart, and then exhale, close the knees and close the elbows. So it's like a butterfly, opening and closing some butterfly wings. So exhaling on this crunch, and on the inhale, we open, heart lifts, and then exhale. And we'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then when you come back down, whenever that is for you, we're going to take the hands on the outside of the knees, push the knees together, and then just hug the knees into you. And then we're going to roll onto our side and roll onto our bellies. And once we're on our bellies, we're going to tuck all 10 toes and push your heels out away from you. Anchor your pelvis. Stack your palms on top of each other. So if it's comfortable to anchor the pelvis is anchored, toes are tucked, legs are strong. And then on the inhale, press your hands into the floor and lift your head and heart. On the exhale, you're going to lower back down. Inhale, we lift. And exhale, we lower. On the inhale, we lift. Legs are strong here. Exhale, lower. And then one more. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. Good. And then release the tops of the feet. We're going to shift the hips from side to side. And then keep the tops of the feet on the floor. Place the hands underneath the shoulders. Elbows come in towards the side rib and pull the shoulders away from your ears. And then on the inhale, pull your heart forward and up. Exhale, we lower. Inhaling, we pull the heart forward and up. On the exhale, we lower. And inhale, we lift. Exhale and lower. And we're going to do one more. On the inhale, we lift. Exhale and lower. And then we'll come forward into a sphinx. So elbows are underneath the shoulders, tops of the feet are rooted, pelvis is anchored. We're going to traction the bottoms of the hands on the forearms and pull this back bend up the back, up behind the heart. Legs are active, so this is a very active sphinx. And we're lengthening the psoas, and this allows us to get a little deeper into the ligaments, connective tissue as well. And also just that back support that we're looking for because of all the sitting that we're doing. And just to create some space in the tissues that we're trying to access. So when the energy begins flowing with the tremoring, we've created space in the tissues. It makes it a little bit easier. At least I found that. The more I open the body, the tremors move a little more freely. Nicely done. And then we're going to lower back down. Let's come into a child's pose one more time. Use the belly to pull you back. And sit back on your heels, lower down, once again supporting your head. Maybe with the fist. Or maybe just have your head resting on the back of the hands. And then as you're ready, let's make our way to a seat. And extend both legs out in front of us, pull the toes towards you. And then we'll begin to point and flex. Pointing and flexing. And then bend the knees generously and circle the feet. Just to get a little more circulation in the hips. And then change the direction so you're going the other way. And then as you're ready, let's hug the knees in, press the feet and the sitting bones into the floor. Lift out through the top of your head. And then extend the left leg forward. You're going to drop the right knee out to the side. Now, some of us might have a bend in this left knee because we're going to come into a head to knee. And we want the left side of the belly to be stacked on top of the thigh. We don't want this rounding. We want a hinging at the hip. So make sure you're hinging at the hip. So knee might be bent or leg might be straight, your choice. And then place the heels of the hand into the thigh. And then we'll all inhale together. On the exhale, press the heels of the hand into the leg and slide the hands down toward the foot. And then as you inhale, we'll slide the hands back up. Exhaling, we come forward. Inhale, come back up. So just opening up the back here. This is really nice for the back. And then coming forward as much as you can, backing out of it. And then we'll come forward and we'll hang out here. So maybe your hands are on the calf, or maybe you're able to grab your foot. I always say there's no prize for grabbing your foot. And I can actually feel my legs getting ready to tremor already because it's that time. And then we'll come back up Take the right hand on the outside of the right leg, extend the right leg forward, hands behind you, windshield wiper the feet from side to side. And then we'll come on to the other side. So hug the left knee in, left knee goes out to the side, flex your right toes, leg might be straight or knee might be bent. Hands on the heels of the hands on the leg rather. And we'll inhale together. Exhale, coming forward. And then inhale, we come out. Exhale, forward. And then inhale, coming out. Exhale, forward. And then one more. Inhale, we'll come out of this. Exhale, we'll come forward. And then you hang out here. Hang out in this forward fold. Maybe you can grab your foot, maybe not. And we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. And then come out. Extend the left leg forward. Windshield wiper the feet from side to side. And then from here, we're going to come right into a Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees go wide. Let's start with the fingertips behind us to lengthen the spine. And press the legs out towards the floor. Maybe the feet open. And some of us will stay here. This is a great place to be. Or some of us are going to grab the shins and resist. Pull the hands into the shins and lift through the top of the head. And this is a great place to be. And then maybe you come forward with the hands on the floor. And this would be more gentle. So if you find that you're rounding, you definitely don't want to pull yourself forward. And the feet are awake. We always want to have our feet as awake as possible. And then nicely done. Let's come up to a seat, hug the knees together once again, and then pull your knees in towards your shoulders. And then from here, we are actually going to make our way onto our back. So if you have a blanket on your mat, you're gonna have to move that. You're gonna fold this blanket in half because you wanna have your feet on the sticky mat so that your feet are nice and secure. And then come onto your back into a butterfly where the soles of the feet are together and the knees are wide. And have your feet a little bit closer to your hips than you think you probably normally do. Arms are going to be by your side in a neutral place. So the arms are right by your side. And then just pause here for a few minutes. Pause here for a few minutes. Not minutes, a few moments. We don't have minutes. And then I want to do one more thing to activate the legs. So take your hands on the inside of the thighs and press the thighs towards each other and have your hands resist that. And we'll be here for 3, 2, 1. That might turn the switch on for some of you to get the tremors activated. And then take your hands on the outside of the thighs and press the hands into the thighs and the thighs into the hands. It's a little trickier to do. For 3, 2, 1. Then release that effort. And then as you're ready, you're going to lift the hips up. So soles of the feet are together. Hips are lifted nice and high. And if you can't do this with the soles of the feet together because your back won't allow it, then put the bottoms of the feet on the floor, but keep the feet really close and keep the knees a little bit wider. And then lift up from here. And you can still see that. See, I'm starting to move. And this is involuntary in case there's some of you that are new. This is your body's way of transitioning into that neurogenic tremor. And we're going to be here for a couple of minutes. I'm just going to check the monitor, make sure that everything is still going the way it's supposed to. You guys keep your hips lifted. Good. And then if you feel like you need to come down and take a rest, you can go ahead and do that if you feel like that's something you need to do. And then you can raise the hips back up. You can raise the hips back up if you come down. So you come down for a moment and then the hips will lift back up again. And that's just, you just give yourself a break. Some of us don't need to keep the hips up as long. And for some of us, if this is new, this can be a little bit fatiguing. And you might feel this rocking and it's involuntary. So know that I'm not rocking on purpose. My body is transitioning into a neurogenic tremor. And neurogenic means nervous system. And so we're moving into this energetic discharge that all mammals are capable of. And maybe just a few more seconds, maybe 30 more seconds. Keep the hips up. Don't have to be here too long. And let's all inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, and then lower back down. Let's have the soles of the feet together. Let the legs go out as wide as they can. And then you're going to close the legs maybe a couple of inches, so it's not very much. Some of you might feel a tremoring on the inside of the thighs. Some of you might feel a tremoring deep in the belly. Some of you might see the legs shaking, or maybe other parts of your body might be shaking, and some of you might not feel anything, which doesn't mean nothing's happening. It just means that your body presents a little differently, and maybe it's more of a humming, it's a softer release. Doesn't mean you have less stress in the body. So this is a way to release excess stress in the body, or from anything. It could be from, obviously we're collectively going through immense stress. You can see my legs really starting to kick in. I was practicing with Sean Korn this weekend, and what she said, it's true. It's grief and it's trauma, what we're going through. It's grief and it's trauma. And then close the legs a little more. So it's grief and it's trauma. And those, are very powerful survival type reactive. It creates survival reactivity in the body. So when we have that survival state, when we're walking around in a state of survival, and whether we realize it or not, we're going to the store if we have to go, or we're worried about loved ones, there is collectively a lot of stress and grief and trauma. And then close the legs a little more. So my legs just kind of go. It's hard to demonstrate where to move them, because once they get going, they kind of pull where they want to go, which happens over many years of this practice. And some of you will keep the soles of the feet together. Some of us will begin to put the bottoms of the feet on the floor, which is what my body prefers. If you put the bottoms of the feet on the floor and the tremors stop, then put the soles of the feet back together. If you find that putting the soles of the feet together and closing the knees a little at a time is too much, well, then you can have the feet on the floor and then open the legs out to the side instead. So lots of variations to move in a way that's supportive to your body, whatever your body needs in the way of support to activate this modality, this release. So we have this collective stress, and, there's a lot of unknowing, and we don't know when this is going to be over, and, we don't know if we're going to be well, or our loved ones are going to be well. So collectively, it's worldwide trauma, which I don't know that the world has felt worldwide trauma like this probably since, I would imagine World War II, right? So a very long time where we've collectively all at the same time experienced this trauma, and energetically that's powerful. The grief and the fear and the trauma that people are experiencing, and it's not over yet. So this modality helps keep the stress flowing, because when we are in that heightened state of survival, our body will tense and hold on to the stressors, and then the nervous system gets bogged down. Like I relate it to a crowded freeway. When the freeway is so crowded, the cars can't go anywhere. Right? So the freeway's so crowded, the cars can't go. So close your knees a little more. So some of you might have done that already. Then you can close the knees a little more, and then, think about putting the bottoms of the feet on the floor if the legs continue to move. And I'm moving my hands because I talk with my hands, but it's best to have the hands by your side in a neutral place, because what can happen is the tremors can move up the spine, which is why we do so much spine work, to open up the spine so the energy can flow freely. And then it may come out the shoulders down into the hands. It may present as shaking. It may present as tingling. It may move up to the head. It can move to parts of the body where you have a more specific condition or situation, like trauma or surgery. That is not uncommon. When I had a car accident in November, and I did some releasing. I like to do it's good to do release after something like a car accident so that trauma doesn't get rooted in your body. And I had lots of releasing because I fractured my sternum, and I had lots of releasing in the heart area. which was necessary because that's where it was the point of impact for me. So if you have a part of your body where there's been trauma, then you might feel the tremors may go there. Now, if you want to take a break, you can just straighten your legs. We're not going to quite stop yet. We'll be doing that in about a minute. And then you can just resume where you left off. And you'll see it doesn't take long for the tremors to kick back in. So we'll be here for probably another 2 minutes. Another 2 minutes. You can always stop and go into your final rest if you'd like. Always your choice. And you guys keep tremoring, and I'm going to just get my tremor stopped here so I can talk to you when you move into your final rest. But staying with your practice for just another minute or so, unless you've chosen to come out of the practice. So always your choice. Let's inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And it's awesome. Also, sometimes what I'll do is when I'm releasing, I usually just am grateful, like whatever I was holding on to, it served a purpose. And, our bodies, and through our body's intelligence, it holds things, it responds and reacts in different ways because of many things that have happened through our life experiences. And whatever we were holding that we're releasing, I always say, thank you. I no longer need you. And just allow it to go, which I think is a nice intention in this practice. Just being grateful for whatever it was we were holding that wasn't serving us and letting it go. So maybe just another minute. Give you guys a good release tonight. Let's inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And then as you're ready, let's go ahead and straighten the legs. And once you straighten the legs, you're going to circle the feet, point and flex the toes. And for most of us, this is going to allow the tremors to subside fairly quickly. And then once you feel like the tremors have subsided, you can either stay on your back or come onto your side. And if you're on your back, if you have a pillow for your legs, you can always put the pillow underneath your knees. If you're having trouble stopping the tremors, come onto your side. That seems to work best. And just be in a sideline, maybe with a blanket or a pillow between your knees or a block. And then just settle in and sit with the experience because it's still happening. We are releasing whether we realize it or not. So settling in and allowing the body to rest. And just noticing what arises here, letting the feet relax, letting the legs get heavy. Letting the pelvis get heavy, softening the back body, softening the belly and the heart and the space that surrounds the heart. And then staying with the heart for a moment longer and really just allowing the space around the heart to soften. And softening the collarbone area and the shoulders, softening the arms, the upper arms, the lower arms. the hands. You can soften the throat. Maybe swallow a couple of times. And soften all of the muscles in the face. Maybe release the jaw, gently stretching the jaw, opening the mouth wide. Letting the eyes settle back into their sockets. And as you inhale a sense of peacefulness. And as you exhale, release anything that is no longer serving you. And we'll sit here quietly, just letting the body settle down. And you can always stay here longer after I end the class if you feel like your body needs a little more rest. This is a consolidated version of this class. So normally we'd like to rest a little bit more. So you're always welcome to do that. And we'll just sit here quietly for a few more moments. Just noticing, allowing, checking in on the breath. And then begin to lengthen the breath. Invite movement back into the body. Wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. Maybe circle the wrists and ankles. If you're on your back, you can give yourself a nice good stretch by bringing the arms above your head and extending your legs long. And then when you're ready, you can bend your knees and roll onto your side. And then just resting on your side for a few moments longer. And checking in with the breath, checking in with the heart. And whenever you're ready, take your time and make your way up to a seat. Take your time. We'll bring our arms out to the sides with the palms facing up. And as you inhale, bring the arms out and up, allowing the palms to touch above your head. As you exhale, lower your hands in front of your heart. And Anjali Mudra, the mudra of gratitude, and maybe calling to mind whoever you dedicated your practice to, just as an acknowledgement as we close. And then we'll bow down towards our heart with gratitude for the practice, with gratitude for our bodies and all of the things we get to do in these bodies. And may any merits gained from our practice today benefit ourselves and all beings everywhere. Thank you all so much for showing up for another great practice. I know you did great. Hopefully you release some stress. I hope you continue to take care of yourself during this shelter in place that we have. I'll be teaching this class again on Wednesday at around 4:00 on my Breathe YouTube channel. It'll go to Breathe on Wednesday. So join me there. Bring your friends. If you want to keep up to date about some videos, I just uploaded a video on the kidney meditation that I do on my YouTube channel. So go ahead and subscribe and you'll get updates and you'll know when I've updated new content, which I'm doing frequently. I have a bunch of videos I have to upload this week. So thank you so much for showing up. Namaste. And I hope to see you again soon. Take care of yourself till I see you again. Bye-bye.